We're going to discuss loading the transverse trays for the attack line, 1.5" attack lines on engine 34. The transverse trays hold 300 feet of hose. 100 feet of that will be spare hose loaded in a Cleveland load style, as is already put into the tray here. The other 200 feet will be transverse Minuteman style load. We're going to start with the nozzle. As always with our attack lines, our nozzles are going to be set to 60 gallons per minute. We're going to check that here. And we're going to make sure it's at a narrow fog pattern. Right to fight and back a little bit. The nozzle goes into the tray in a very aggressive manner. It's going to lay sitting out like this. The reason we do this is we want the nozzle to be easy, the handle to be easy to reach on the nozzle with a gloved hand. Then we're going to lay it flat back and forth. We're going to follow, you'll notice on the tray that the ends are kind of angled. We're going to follow that angle up with our folds. So the first fold's going to be back, and as we come up, the folds will come forward along with following the angle of the tray. Once we reach our first connection, we're going to connect as always. But on this first stack, we do not have to Dutch the connection. The reason being, this entire stack is going onto our shoulder. We don't have to worry about it coming straight off. We always want to make sure that our connections, that the line is even and straight across. We don't want to have a twist in the line, because when we go to lay that flat loaded, that's going to mess up our load slightly. Nice and flat across. Carry on with our flat lay. And our first 100 feet are in, our first 2 lengths. We're going to take this connection, we're just going to set it aside for now. We'll worry about the connection later when we get the other 100 feet in. Now we're going to start with the other end of the connection, the end that goes onto the truck. So on this connection is going to lay out, the bottom is going to connect straight to the truck, and we need to make sure we have enough length to make that connection. If you're near the truck doing the job, you can just go and figure it out, but if you're not, it's about 3 feet would be plenty. If you're a little bit long, that's okay. You try not to be short, is what we're avoiding. This is going to just lay off the end, and we start flat laying the next section. And again, just like before, we're going to follow the angle of the tray up with our folds. First fold is going to be well back, and then we'll keep every fold above it will be a little bit more forward, following the angle of the tray. And one more connection of couplings. And again, we want to make sure it's a nice straight connection. This particular connection is going on the hand pole, is coming straight off the truck, so we do want to Dutch this to make sure it's coming straight off when we pull it. The rest of the lay is flat lay. No other changes. And again, we're going to go a little bit forward every time. Now on this particular lay, when we get to what we believe will be the second to last or last fold, we're going to put a loop in there. We want the loop in there to be something to grab onto. And that loop's going to lay over the end just slightly. Again, it doesn't have to be a huge loop, doesn't have to hang down a whole long way, but it does need to be big enough that a gloved hand can reach in there easily and in a hurry. And now we're going to make our final connection. We're going to take the connection from our first 100 feet that we left laying beside our connection from the last 100 feet that we just did, put them together. Again, making sure it's nice and straight. And we'll just let it fold naturally on the top, however works best. And our Minuteman is laid into the tray. The tray just now has to go back on the truck. Oh, sorry.